It's Levy's recording.
Okay, I'm going to start here. Good afternoon. I'm Carl Garrison with Executive Service Corps Houston, and we go by, just like in our logo, ISH. And we're so happy to have you today. And we, like you, have been wondering, what is AI all about and how can it help it as a nonprofit? And so we originally wanted to do this about a year ago, and it's just took us time to find the right people to work with to present it and for us to understand more and more about it. And so we've been dabbling with it ourselves, and so now we're ready to share it to you guys. I'm going to tell you a little bit about ISH. We've been around since 1984, and we are a nonprofit that helps empower other nonprofits. So all of our clients are nonprofits, and we help them to reach their mission in life, so to improve their capacity to provide services for others. So we've been around, like I say, 40 years, and we've been doing this, and very affordable. Our whole deal is trying to make it as affordable for nonprofits so that more and more nonprofits can reach their full potential. We comprise about 40 plus retired and employed consultants from both the nonprofit and the profit sector. And we trained in doing strategic planning, marketing planning, technology, accounting, board governance, all the aspects of nonprofits. One of the things we do have in technology, and if you got this email to get on the seminar today, you'll get one in 1st of June here, about our partnership with UH, and we can help you improve your website or create a new one. We can also help with databases, help with social media, all the technology kinds of things that we work with. We have student teams that will work right with you, and we will have an ISH mentor on each team to help guide the process. We provide about $1 million worth of services annually, and this is at a market price. We charge a limited price for each one of our services that we can, based on the size of the organization and what they can afford. It's a sliding scale. We serve about 1,300 clients across 6 counties in the Houston area. And sometimes we're reaching even outside the Houston area. And we support just about every kind of nonprofit, from education to healthcare, environment, arts and cultures, all sorts of things. We have a 4-to-1 kind of return on the investment because it's a leverage thing. We help you so that you have more capacity to help others. And so this is kind of how we've figured this out. And this is some of our contact information. At the end of the meeting today, you will get all this PowerPoint, so you don't have to keep up with a lot of notes, and with all the contact information, everything in it. And you'll also get a handout from our instructor today. One of the things we discovered over the years is all nonprofits tend to look alike it when you build the essence or the basic business model for a nonprofit. So nonprofits deal with 4 primary entities: donors, volunteers and staff, suppliers, and best of all, our clients. We collect money, we tell donors what we're doing. We have sign-ups for volunteers, people get invoices, and then we service it. Take a little bit closer look for how we deal with these 4 entities. It's about 4 major processes. We collect donations, that's both from individuals in grant writing and collecting grant dollars from foundations and so forth. And we do that in like this process. We manage our finances and deal with all our different suppliers, from internet suppliers to rent to whatever. We deal with volunteers. We sign them up. We assign them to different tasks. We manage all the volunteers and the staff. And last but not least, we service our clients. we accept requests from them. We send them information like newsletters, announcements, things like that, places, events that's coming up for they can sign up. All that's done in around the major process of serving the clients. And there's 4 major data stores that are involved with these processes: from donors, finance, clients, and volunteers. And these may be as simple as a spreadsheet, or even sometimes I've seen in volunteers where they just have a manual log of people signing in and then sign on and that sort of thing. So there's really four major data stores along with these processes. And we believe that AI can help in just about every one of these processes. And you're going to see a lot of examples of that today. And this is what we're all about. And besides this is an introduction, and we're going to have some follow-up workshops that get into more details on a particular item after this seminar. One of the things that kind of we did try to figure out how we can help nonprofits better and kind of led us to this seminar is everybody's got limited resources. And the data that we've got shows that 60%, I think this is probably a low number actually, don't have enough staff to really do what they want to do. Interesting fact though, 33%, that's a third of nonprofits, have an operating budget under 100,000. I didn't realize that till we started investigating. Inefficiencies. This is a terrible thing here. We lose 12% of our donations because of data errors. We send them to the wrong address. We don't have the right email. We have the wrong contact information. Something goes awry. And we spend a significant amount of time on manual, repetitive tasks. And that's what we're always trying to get more volunteers to help do some of these repetitive tasks. And we're thinking every one of these items on this challenging list, we think there's a way AI can help us. And we have a real lack of data-driven insights. 70% of nonprofits like any kind of investment in data analytics and decision making. And most of the nonprofits don't even have a data strategy. And this is getting to be more and more of a problem with particularly foundations and all. They want to know what's your numbers? What's my money going for? How many people did you have? What's the outcome? All of those kinds of things. And this is another area that is AI may be able to add value and reduce our efforts in getting this data. Donor retention, no, this is an interesting, I never heard that until I started digging into it. 45% of donors never give a second time. We have got to do a much better job, us included, as well as you guys, on having repeat donors. Board engagement, we hear this problem all the time. 70% might even be a low number of nonprofits. Board involvement, and particularly board involvement in fundraising, is a big challenge for them. Tech adoption is another problem for nonprofits, another challenge, and we generally are behind either the big nonprofits or other small businesses that's our size in adapting to technology. And by bringing this seminar and the following workshops, I think we might be ahead once, or at least we have the gap closed on using AI in our nonprofit business to make us more efficient and maybe we have less reliant on all the volunteers that we need. And so that's what we're going to be talking about, and the reason we're bringing you this seminar today. This is some of the areas that I think can be that we can help with AI, and these are just major areas. And you can see we're going to develop some workshops around these, and you'll see it toward the end, and there'll be a survey later on today to find out which ones of these you'd rather have a workshop first, so that we can use our prioritizing of these workshops. Our instructor for the day is Alexander V. from Agency Intelligence, and this is his company bios and contact information here. And like I say, you'll get this slide deck or PowerPoint at the end, so you don't have to worry about taking notes on this. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to Alex.
Thank you, Carl, for that great intro. First things first, guys. First order of operations. I personally am not too big about PowerPoints. I am a more practical presenter. So today, in this presentation, I'm going to tell you a bit more, introduce you to AI, some use cases in nonprofits, and then I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it to you in real time so that all of you here can walk away with something you can use in your organization today, like something that's actually tangible that works. First things first, where are you guys joining in from today? I want you to drop your city and state here in the chat box. Baltimore, whoa, way out. Got some of our fellow Houstonians right here. Hey, Kim. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Helen. Sarah from Texas. Areli from Rosenberg, Texas. Millie, Humble. Good stuff. We got people joining in from both Greater Houston and out of state. California. Ooh, good stuff. All right. So first things first. One of the ways in which, so the way essentially I help our clients with AI is with search engine optimization, conversion rate optimization, automations, which are a huge part of what nonprofits need, social media marketing based on customers' target persona and researching the target persona, custom assistants to interact with users in the website and over the phone and on text, marketing personalization, pay-per-click ads and optimization, prompting techniques, and writing marketing copy. So those are just some of the ways in which we can assist companies and organizations with AI. So essentially, let's look at how commercial businesses use AI to save time and maximize productivity. On top of the stats that Carl just shared with us all, did you know that McKinsey found that only 10 to 14% of businesses use generative AI in their marketing? I mean, besides the lack of adoption, some people are simply prejudiced against AI. You, by joining today, are already one step ahead. Now, the challenge for nonprofits is that there's a lack of in-house expertise when it comes to AI. For nonprofits, these challenges are a lot more pronounced because of the limited resources. So how do nonprofits compete? Use AI effectively and technology effectively. Quick story. I was at a local charity that used an online check-in system. There were 5 clients who were all checking in, and they did not know that they had to scan a QR code to check in. There was no advance notice of checking in. They had to scan the QR code and wait in the waiting area. Now imagine how all that wait could have been avoided with a simple automated sequence, and especially an AI assistant, because think about that waiting room, that whole waiting was preceded by 2 phone calls for qualification. And if you don't get a call back, you don't even know if that organization has sufficient funding to help you or not, and if you're even a fit or not. So that's where AI assistants come in. How many of you have experienced similar inefficiencies in your organization? I want you to share it in the chat box.
Yeah, or just raise your hand anyway.
Yeah. Guys, if you've had particular struggles with particular struggles in your onboarding in your nonprofits, I encourage you to share them in the chat box. I see your hands up. Sharika, you wanted to speak?
Hi, Alexander. No, I was just kind of raising my hand to say that I've seen it in my own organization and some organizations that I work with as well. Just the automation piece is a big part that takes up a lot of time. And so that tends to be where a lot of founders and a lot of executives and leadership kind of spend a lot of their time crafting emails to troubleshoot issues that kind of come up with the constituents that they serve. And so, yeah, it's so prevalent, especially in our sector. And so, yeah, I mean, we see it on an everyday basis, but primarily in that automation space.
Thank you, Sharika, for unmuting yourself and sharing that. Yes, the automation is a big component, especially because a lot of the solutions out there tend to be disintegrated, and we prefer having it on all-in-one solution because it's easier for all the people on the board to manage. And besides, the AI tools that you need will be integrated under that one dashboard. John Reed, we have a visibility problem. Not many people know about us. Glad you mentioned that. That ties into another one of our use cases, SEO, and I'm going to explain that a bit more in a moment. Okay. So here are the use cases of AI for nonprofits. First things first, a live web chat and SMS assistance. These aren't just any chatbots that go through a logic tree like if this, then that. These are autonomous agents that have both a standard training set, a role to play, and they have a sequence of steps to follow, just like an employee would in your organization, whether they're onboarding clients or vetting them or simply answering questions for donors or clients. And it's all integrated. The way it works essentially is you would have a training set of your organization's missions, vision, and values, and standard operating procedures and everything related that you want to know to customers. Have that uploaded, and that sequence gets programmed, and it functions exactly like a human would. It's totally autonomous on autopilot. This addresses the problem of inefficiency and limited staff, automated customer support, automated donation processes, automated answering common questions. And the best part is a lot of nonprofits have trouble standing out. You see, it can be tough for someone to pick someone who really stands out, especially when they're not clear about establishing their organizational policies or their papers. That's where the assistant comes in. It helps the winners stand out. Split tests, marketing split tests. AI can run split tests on ads to enhance marketing effectiveness and donor engagement and visibility, as was mentioned in the chat. How many of you know what split tests are? If you know what they are, put a 1 in the chat box. If you don't, put a 0. Now, as I see those 1s and 0s roll into the chat box, if you guys in any way prioritize marketing and getting donors, listen closely. Those of you who have responded 0, you're missing out to your competition. Split testing is one of the very basics of advertising. It's how you get better results with the same marketing budget. They're everywhere in our marketing today. Websites, ad copy, creatives, landing pages, headlines, emails. Y'all remember all those old TV commercials where you would see 2 or 3 variations of the same ad? That is split testing. Those are ad agencies running different versions of the same ads to see what would get a better response from consumers. The same applies to commercial businesses and nonprofits. Essentially, we're running 2 different versions of the same marketing material and run them to equal portions of the same audience, and then taking a winner. We've been running our own split test since 2018. Our best ever split test yielded 8 times the leads as the original landing page. That's a 7 times increase in leads. Think about how that translates into tangible business. Now, our worst split tests still generate 12% more leads over the original. All of our other split test campaigns have been somewhere within that range. Sometimes split tests can even generate negative results. In some cases, they prove that the original can actually be better than the treatment. They can prove a hypothesis. Now, how would you guys like a dedicated AI agent to research and create copy for marketing split tests? One that is based on thousands of marketing experiments. An AI dashboard for pay-per-click ads to split test headlines, images, ad copy, the whole bit. And the AI automatically moves your budget to the best performing ads. It determines the winners for you, so less money is wasted. Think about what that could mean for your organization to have less money trained. What do you guys think about that? Ashley, I agree. We need to market more and marketing more efficiency, marketing more efficiently. Grant writing. This is something that Carl briefly touched upon. It is the most sought after source of funding for nonprofits. It's less resource intensive than a gala or a fundraiser, but it is complex and time consuming because it has a bunch of moving parts. You have to understand the values of the foundation you're applying for the grant from. You have to understand deadlines, policies, things like that. Things you have to spend hours researching. Now, I understand some of you might be in competition for the same grant, but what if you guys could get first in line and not only that, be ahead of the competition with a solid proposal? Investing in grant writing can 10x your grant revenue over a year, and AI can drastically speed up that process. The biggest differentiator in getting a grant application approved is the quality and detail and identifying the priorities and seeing who is available to give that money. Trying to do it yourself is frustrating. Writing and research is exactly what AI is great at. You can give it the grant program or foundation, as I'm going to show you later. The AI identifies those priorities and it asks you for the things it needs to draft you a solid proposal, so you're going to have a chance to identify deficiencies and get feedback on the spot. Data analysis. Carl was talking about data inaccuracies. AI provides mechanisms to match the data points with the correct context so that then you can develop a persona. The AI can develop a persona of someone who is an ideal donor, and then you can market more effectively to that donor and that donor. Tailor your message to that donor and all of your marketing to that donor profile. Previously, this process would take hours upon hours of research. It is much more simplified. Search engine optimization. It's our bread and butter. Many SEO tests under our belt over years of doing it. It's not just about getting clicks. It's about, again, using AI to speak to that persona and differentiate yourself from the competition so that you can get that visibility while having that competitive advantage. Digital PR, research, video scripts, policy writing, bylaws, and governance, all things that AI can do for you. Peer-to-peer outreach, cultivation, personalizing donor engagement to improve retention rates. Personalization in your campaigns can double donations over a year. Real world example of personalization. We had a consulting client, gave the AI various inputs to create a proposal for them. Now, this is a client with a major industry site that gets 1 million visitors a month. They accepted the proposal and became our paid client. Why did they choose it? Because whatever the AI came up with, not only was it different from what everyone else did, but it was customized to the client's exact needs. Everyone else was saying, do 3 blog posts a month for this result. And we're like, okay, here are the 3 stages in which we're going to do this campaign. Here are the components and strategies of each of the stages. And here's how they'll make a difference. And here is the data to demonstrate it. The AI organized everything and the client accepted that proposal. And last but not least, job applications, streamlining hiring, qualifying and vetting potential employees through proven processes, the same ones you employ in your organization. So you don't have to spend so much time in recruitment. The profile of that prospective employee is provided to you with a custom message through an AI-based interaction. I'm going to explain to you some of the AI terminologies. Artificial intelligence has its own vocabulary, and these phrases are going to be featured in the handout you're going to get later. As you use the AI, there are certain phrases and words you're going to expect to hear a lot. I'm going to break them down for you. GPT, generative pre-trained transformer. No ChatGPT. GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformer, meaning it's literally an AI model that generates text based on a pre-existing training set using Google's transformer model. So in the pre-trained part is especially important because you can't just type anything into AI and expect good stuff out of it. You have to train it, to coach it, to talk to it in an exact manner. LLM, large language model, AI models that are trained on huge sets of language to process and output coherent responses in a human manner. Machine learning is the facet of AI that is involved with training algorithms to understand and make predictions based on data. Hallucinations are what it says in the tin. Hallucinations are when the AI tends to be inaccurate. Safety and accuracy is definitely a concern with AI. I mean, look, these are predictive text models. AI has to be fact-checked. How do we prevent hallucinations and inaccuracies? Guardrails, mechanisms that you can implement to regulate AI and ensure the responses are accurate and to prevent them from generating undesired responses. So, for example, if your client asks for such and such type of information, and yet you are not at liberty to give it out to your customers or exchange this information, and it needs to stay private, you're going to instruct the AI agent to do this instead. Always follow these guidelines. Markdown, a common language used by AI models. Prompts, text that you send to an AI. System instructions, the lens, the window through which the AI generates its responses so that it's more personalized to a particular use case or plays a particular role within your organization. System instruction. Prompt engineering, the science of creating prompts and instructions for more effective AI text generation. Tokens are the currency of artificial intelligence. They are the portions of text that AI processes to generate an output. When you're giving it a longer prompt and more system instructions, that tends to consume more tokens. And the more complex the model, the more the tokens it tends to use as well. Context window is basically the AI's capacity, bandwidth. It's the maximum amount of tokens that it can use at any single time. Now, guys in the audience, how many of you are already using AI in some capacity? Let me know in the chat, and I would love to know if and what you're already using it for. James, Zahid, using it a lot. Good to know. Good to know there's some people in the audience. Okay. Responding to emails. ChatGPT has impacted the AI world in a huge manner. Back in 2017, I've been using AI as far back as 2017 to generate auxiliary SEO content and other pieces of content. In 2019, we've tested an AI voice model that intelligently communicates with customers over the phone. That model is not just any frustrating touch tone prompt. It is intelligent. It actually listens to people. Now, originally, the technology cost you a pretty penny. It costs a mid 4 figures. Now, after ChatGPT, It's only available for a fraction of the price. You can see how convenient OpenAI's technology has made AI accessible for people. Comparing the different AI language models, each of them has their respective strengths and weaknesses. ChatGPT 4 and the newly released 4o and Omni, also known as Omni, are best known for advanced conversational abilities and creativity. The OpenAI models do best when you engage with them like you would a human. I tend to use them the most overall because they're best for general use, and the responses are the most creative and nuanced. Claude by Anthropic. Before GPT-4o, Claude was the most accurate in terms of information. It's generally better for more technical or specific tasks like coding. Gemini by Google is very closely integrated with Google Search. So when you need to derive information from Google Search or Google Ads or Google's database, Gemini is the go-to for that. And people tend to use it a lot for prompt engineering. Ashley says, yes, I've used ChatGPT some for research purposes or to draft ads for volunteer stewardship committees. Sharika says, coming up with social media posts. Those are use cases we're going to show. And in particular, advanced ways of using it to communicate with your target audience more effectively. Now, those of you who have used AI, I mean, anyone who hasn't pitched in, which of them have you used so far? Someone here's used Gemini. Good stuff. Susan has used all three: Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini. Good to know. Well, since some of you here, it's clear some of you here already have a handle on tools. And I mean, even if some of you don't, I'm going to dive right into the interactive session. Today, we are going to demonstrate policy writing, grant writing, social media marketing, and job applications, and writing content. As time permits, we'll also have a chance to demonstrate our conversational AI technology to interact with customers. Susan just asked, which is the best one to generate pictures, and also should you pay or use the free versions? Excellent question. As far as generating pictures, I would recommend experimenting with them and seeing which one is the best for your particular use case. DALL-E tends to be very creative. It generates very artistic images. Stable Diffusion and Leonardo are best for generating photorealistic images that aren't too exaggerated and that reflect humans in a very natural environment. Whatever your use case is, I would consider, I would think about which tools are best for what and play around with them. Should you pay or use free versions? As far as ChatGPT, 3.5 is available, but it's behind compared to the newest versions, 4 and 4.0, which are available with a GPT Plus subscription. That's only $20 a month. Now, the good news is, for a similar cost, we actually use a dashboard that has all the AI models, the major ones, under one roof. And that includes ChatGPT, the various iterations, all the Claude models, the Google Gemini models, Llama by Meta, and you can switch between them on the fly, so you don't have to switch between them, different tabs, and copy and paste the same system instructions just to be able to test them. I can put the link to the dashboard later on, and I'll show it to you during the meeting. for creating AI chatbot, which is the best to use. That's something that I actually specialize in. And that's actually something I specialize in and something you can consult with me for along with grant writing. I'm going to talk more about that later, but essentially you can book some time with me and I can demonstrate, I can build out one of those things for you in real time. Okay. So first things first, we're going to dive head first into grant writing. And I'm going to share my screen. Just give me one moment.
There we go. We can see it.
All right, excellent. Okay. So what we're doing is we're using a process from, and we're also mixing a process from an AI system that we're using a process from an AI system that is based on thousands of marketing experiments and that has been proved that it uses a proven formula for grant writing. Now, bear in mind that this app is yet to be commercially released. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inputs from it and put it into my chat box right here. Sorry about that. Just give me one moment. Now, for here, we're going to give it a hypothetical example of a grant writing proposal. You are an expert at writing proposals for grants, period. Here are your instructions, period. I'm going to ask you to come up with a hypothetical organization that is applying for a grant, as well as a foundation that offers a grant and the criteria that suits these guidelines, period. Now, you see what I did there? I voice typed. Let's start by creating a hypothetical organization applying for a grant, as well as a foundation offering the grant and its criteria. Following that, we can move through each step of the grant writing process. Hypothetical organization, Green Future Foundation. Mission statement. Green Future Foundation aims to promote sustainable development and environmental conservation through community-driven projects and educational programs. History. Founded in 2012, Green Future has successfully implemented over 50 projects in urban and rural communities, focusing on renewable energy, waste management, and environmental education. Past projects: Urban Green Spaces Initiative, Solar for Schools, Waste to Wealth. Hypothetical foundation offering the grant, Eco Innovations Grant Foundation. You see how it specifies the eligibility, the funding range, and the submission deadline. Initial details for the grant proposal, understanding the grant and its requirements, as well as research and preparation. Now, considering that, now this is the latest model that OpenAI has just released. It is the most advanced, GPT-4o. If you paid attention, you could see how quickly it generated the response. And not only that, It's capable of generating this much in-depth and nuanced responses in one go. A year and a half ago, when ChatGPT 3.5 was released, it couldn't even do a fraction of this, and that was already considered impressive. We see an exact order, an executive summary, the statement of need, a project description, an implementation plan, personnel involved. Now, obviously, in your case, when you interact with an assistant like this and have a grant proposal built out in real time, you would be inputting the mission, vision, and values of your organization. The assistant will tell you and ask you what it needs to come up with a proposal. Put bits and pieces of information, saves hours of research. And plus, because GPT-4o has internet access, you can actually ask it to search for a keyword, such and such an organization in this city, and it can actually find websites for you of organizations that offer grants. I actually did this earlier, and it was able to come up with an organization, and the AI gave a winning proposal. Budgeting, hub setup, technology, material, personnel, workshop development, miscellaneous. Of course, this can be customized to your organization, but essentially, with the context of the Granting Foundation's budget, the AI has the ability to customize this all for you. Okay. Any questions so far about grant writing? Sharika asked if a replay of this will be sent out. Yes, this meeting is being recorded, and there will be a replay. Any questions you guys got in particular about grant writing? Anything in particular you wanted to address while we're at it? Is there any discounted prices for this tool for nonprofits? Yes. And Zahid, so you mentioned that you wanted to you were interested in the chatbots. Any other particular things you might have been interested in? And we can always have a conversation and put together a package for you. Thank you, Zahid. Appreciate it. Okay. As far as the software, as far as a dashboard like this, I'm going to have to check. I'm going to have to check for the pricing, but as far as our services, we can offer discounts. John Reed, how did the info you showed get into the program? So this essentially is an advanced AI's models knowledge about grant writing. It's done a lot of grant writing before. It has drafted many proposals. And what I did was I pasted it into this assistant based on ChatGPT. And what I did was I basically used conversational language to come up with a hypothetical organization in a hypothetical foundation. Now, when you ask it for specifics, ChatGPT can get super, super creative with its output. Remember, it's a transformer. It puts words into context just as it would a human, understanding it like human language. It understands words like human language.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, so all of this information came from inputs that you plucked from here and there and everywhere and so on. Where does the artificial intelligence come in? That's what I'm not understanding. I mean, what is artificial intelligence vis-a-vis this example you're giving? I'm sorry if it sounds too simple, but I just don't quite understand why this is called artificial intelligence. If it seems to me like it's the same thing you do when you're loading information into a computer. You pluck it from here and there and everywhere, and you got it. And it would be, and you could actually, when you're doing that, you could fill in the blanks that are here, do this, provide educational, I mean, all this sort of thing. You could do that without sort of the questions here. So how is this more intelligent than doing what I just described?
So first things first, how long do you spend, what are those particular apps that you describe, and how long do you spend doing that?
Well, I mean, I do it every day with a computer management system. We load in information about individuals. I mean, I don't know how that could be done more efficiently. Yeah, I would like to know, certainly.
That sounds like a CRM, customer relationship management. Is that would that be close to whatever you're describing?
It is yeah. It has to do with a ministry where we help people, but we ask them a series of questions so we get to know them and that sort of thing, and then we understand their situation and then decide how we can help them. I mean, it's all sort of straightforward. It's not, the relationship is really in the discussions as opposed to in the system.
Right, right. And I
Okay.
agree with that completely.
Okay.
So what you're describing is a different sort of use case.
Mhm.
Yeah. What you're describing is a different sort of use case. Where the AI comes in is this is specifically for drafting grant proposals. Okay. What you're doing, yes, what you're doing is you're interacting with an expert who can offer feedback in real time. You can challenge it. You can ask it to debate its own information. Now, if you book a consultation with me and I can walk you through a complete proposal writing in real time, I can build out a real example for your organization, and I can show you the kind of depth the conversations can happen.
Yeah. Let's get on to some other use cases before we run out of time.
Yes, yes. All right. The next use case is social media marketing. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be developing a persona. We're going to be developing a persona for marketing. First things first, I'm going to send the AI a message with some basic instructional context. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use GPT-4o to come up with some writing samples. So what essentially we're doing here is we're loading up the AI with we're loading up the AI with training data from the manner in which you communicate with clients. Essentially, inputting your language and using it to generate text. And now that I've given it some samples, we're going to put it into a concise set of instructions that we would use for the AI. And now we have a set of instructions we could use for an AI model that is fully personalized to your organization. I'm going to go ahead and save this into a prompt, a custom persona.
Your screen's not being shared right now.
Yeah. I had to turn it off for a moment. And now we're going to launch a new chat. And we're going to experiment with a different AI model to write the text. Now, as you're getting a handle on all these different models, what you're going to do is I encourage you to play around and experiment with these different models. And I'm going to share a link to use this dashboard later on in the meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the persona from this list. Now, what I'm doing here is not just any prompt. ChatGPT and certain other AIs tend to use repetitive language patterns if you don't train them, okay? They tend to use repetitive language patterns if you don't train them. But if you get creative and have a certain training set that backs up all this commentary, you're going to get a much higher quality of text. Rise and shine, our dedicated crew wakes up ready to make a difference. But first, coffee. After that much needed energy boost, it's time to dive into another rewarding day of supporting our community. The morning finds our team hard at work, juggling meetings, calls, and emails, all while championing use cases and all while championing causes close to our hearts. From coordinating food drives to mapping out strategies for our upcoming fundraiser, every minute counts when you're in the business of transforming lives. Come lunchtime, you'll likely find us out and about visiting local nonprofits and schools. We cherish those opportunities to connect face-to-face with the incredible people we serve. Good stuff. Now let's write one about transparency in the organization. Now I'll write another illustrating transparency in the organization and expressing the policies behind what we do. Zahid asks, how do we know which model to use for what purpose? I say it's a matter of trial and error, and that's the great thing about this dashboard. You can experiment with different models. What I typically do is I start with ChatGPT 4 first, and if I'm not getting a sufficient quality of output, then regardless of my prompting efforts, then I move on to something else like Claude. I generally start with Claude Sonnet, and then if I need something a bit more deep and sophisticated, I move on to Claude Opus. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. Transparency lies at the heart of everything we do, driving our daily operations and long-term vision. We believe you deserve to know exactly how your support translates into real, lasting change. Our open door policy starts from within. Every quarter, we hold a company-wide meeting where each team shares progress reports, community outreach events, social media engagement, shadowing opportunities. Okay, guys, now's your time to shine. Did you have any particular use cases, things that you wanted to describe to me? Customized social media plans you wanted me to make for you? Grant proposals? I want your input. I want your input because without it, I can't customize it. Any of you who newsletter article for ESHA? Good stuff. All right, Carl. I could go over to the website and take background information about ESH. But first, did you have any background information about what kind of tone that you would like to give? What kind of tone you would like to give? Any background information you would like to upload specifically? Good stuff. Thank you, Carl. I'm going to go ahead and copy the about section. And Carl, what specifically is meant by status of a program so that I can give the AI a bit more specificity and context? And let me switch back into the creative ChatGPT. The success story of a client that uses the website we help them build. Awesome. Good stuff. And if you see any delay, it's because I work on two screens. I have multiple apps in front of me that I go back and forth between to get different pieces of information. So there's that. This is the bio for Executive Service Corps of Houston, ESH.
Carl, how about some testimonials?
Your role is to, I know we're limited for time, but I'm doing what I can. Yes, testimonials are super helpful. Your role is to understand this about section and write an email campaign about the success story of a client. The tone you are to use is informative. Okay. Here is the about section. At my next instruction, you'll write the email campaign. Now you can see, do you understand? You see that I'm being very exact in my and deliberate and clear in my language to ChatGPT. This isn't just data entry or typing in fields to get certain responses. This is artificial intelligence. It's learning and understanding. Please write me an newsletter article about a client success, ESH, client success, and where their program stands now. Here's a newsletter article. Dear friends and supporters, we're here to share a heartwarming success story that underscores the impact of your support and the transformative power of the collaborative efforts. When this client approached us, they faced significant challenges with their online presence. Their outdated website did not reflect the vibrancy and critical nature of their work. It was difficult to navigate, lacked essential functionalities, and did not communicate their mission effectively to volunteers, donors, and those they serve. Our partner team of volunteers partnered with this client to overhaul their digital platform. Through a series of no-cost consultations and workshops, we worked closely to understand their needs, goals, and unique stories they wanted their website to tell. Together, we outlined a strategic plan for focusing on user experience with user-friendly navigation, responsive design, and engaging content. Development and launch, increased engagement, broader reach, operational efficiency. Your continued support enables us to partner with amazing organizations. Today, this client helps us stand stronger and more connected with their community than ever before. How's that, Carl? Does that sound accurate?
That's pretty good for our first shot. It's
Good stuff.
really good.
Yeah, awesome. Of course, any changes that you would like to make to it, refinements. As the handout said, as it says in the handout, artificial intelligence is a process of continuous improvement. You are coaching the AI on how to do better. You are helping it to correct inaccuracies, fill in the blanks, teach it the name of the client. And ChatGPT in particular learns from your input. It remembers. Ashley, Sharika, love it. Awesome. Appreciate you guys' feedback. While we still have time for Q&A, any other questions you still have?
Do we have time for any for another use case or not?
Let's do it. Let me just pull up my notes here. All right. So the next step is the conversational AI models. Okay. Like I discussed, these are intelligent autonomous assistants. They provide the entire infrastructure for clients and client and donor success. So think about the difference. So think about operational efficiency, the stages it takes to get a client or a donor from A to B, the phone calls they have to go through, the interviews, the vetting, and the and the fact of putting that all into the CRM. What if all that could be automated? Yeah, Madge AI has a free trial. I'll drop the link. I'll drop my link here in a moment. So I'm going to go here, and we can see that there are different types of assistants that we can create. We can create a customer support assistant who can answer questions about the organization, a recruiter, an account manager, and a self-selling assistant. What I would like to do is now I can demonstrate something to you in real time. But first, we can really quickly demonstrate, just to show you the capabilities. Now, what happens is essentially the agent learns from the customer's input. It understands the customer's input. And it follows exact instructions. And it either books an appointment or vets them in accordance with certain steps. And you can adjust the latency and the speed of the responses. Now I can start building out a custom assistant and follow up on a one-on-one meeting, because we may not have all the time in the world to demonstrate it all, but can quickly show you the capabilities and how I can upload a knowledge base. Now, what these bots do, what these assistants do also, is they pull information from the leads in real time and put it into our fully integrated CRM so that it can take notes, custom variables, and it can trigger an automation that sends, for example, a custom email or a message summarizing the conversation. So you have everything you need. Okay? Can take all these forms of knowledge. Plain text, a file like a PDF or a Word document, or a website URL. Did anyone have a particular website you want to volunteer? So that especially one that is abundant in information about the organization. Awesome, thank you. Zahid, can this be integrated with our electronic healthcare records? That can get a little bit complicated since while our tools, our CRM can have HIPAA compliance, it does come at an extra cost. Again, we can get into a much more in-depth conversation about this. It is something related to healthcare records can get a little bit beyond the scope of this meeting. So it's best that you and I have a one-on-one meeting. Okay. Next, we can see that this assistant has a series of personalities you can choose from, and look at all of these functionalities. Create tasks in the CRM. Sending emails, adding tags in the CRM. And then we can hook it up with the nonprofits demo. And this controls the latency of the bot. It can respond it can take as short or as long to respond as you like. The purpose of this is to allow in the event that someone sends double or triple messages. Okay. I'm going to generate a summary with AI based on your website, Susan. "50/50 Women on Boards" is a global 501c3 nonprofit organization founded in 2010. They have a clear mission to promote gender balance and diversity in corporate boards by advocating for greater representation of women and women of color. Okay, use company overview. I'm going to need to regenerate that. And Susan, is there some particular information that you wanted this assistant to know? What role you want them to play? Okay, then let's roll with it. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of information here, but needless to say, I'm going to collect. So this part, so this step in the flow would collect the customer's first and last name, and it would save that field into, and it would save all that information into the CRM. when the customer has entered their first and last name. And then we would follow up with such information as the phone number. Susan? No worries. Appreciate your time today. And looking forward to when you see the recording. Okay. You can give it example dialogues and data points. Put them into automated workflows to send them emails. Create a note or a task, send an email, tags, all things that can be done within a CRM to move the process along, move the customer along, initiate follow-up sequences, extract data from them so that use logic to determine which emails to send, and then use that data to determine ideal donor profiles. Now, I may not have all the time to set up the tags necessary for the assistant to work, but you saw some of the conversations, and I can build one of these out for you live in real time in a conversation so you can understand just the kind of role it would play for your organization. In the meantime, any final questions you have for me before I hand it back to Carl? You're free to open your mic at this point.
Alex, hi, Sharika here. Just wanted to thank you. This was really great, and just kind of knowing that this dashboard can do so much. And I know you said that it is not currently commercially available and that you'll leave us a trial, but is this kind of what your company does? It can build out a custom one for our organization to use on an ongoing basis? Or is this something that would be readily available to like the public and then you can like subscribe to at a later date?
Let me just elaborate on that. So the Madge AI dashboard is something that's already available to the public. We are using a separate AI model in the background that is not yet publicly released, but is available to clients through our services. And we would be advertising those to the general public.
Awesome.
As far as software like the AI assistants and as far as software like the AI assistants and CRM, those are commercially available to the public.
Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification, Alex. And once again, thank you so much for this demonstration. It was extremely helpful. Thank you.
You are most welcome, Sharika. Thank you.
Alex,
All right.
I had to ask about the connection to actively connecting to Facebook. Are you aware of a connection to Facebook from ChatGPT or any other platform?
Typically, as far as what's your use case, James? Tell me more.
Well, the general problem is the lack of staff in a nonprofit. The other issue, that's the reason why they don't use social media. And I know we generated some nice social media blurbs that can be sent out on social media. But I think what they're really, the problem is they need an easier way to get it done. For instance, like input a status report, a monthly status report, and use that to generate the posts. I use the word automatically, but in the beginning it should be semi-automatically. Just make it extremely easy, because you got to be careful about what you send out and put on chat in a post.
Yes, completely agree with that. We do have a sort of semi-automatic process for that. As far as direct integrations between ChatGPT and posting on Facebook pages, I don't know of any. What I do have is our CRM, which you can use. Once you have those AI posts, you can schedule them all out in advance from one dashboard and have them all go out. This post goes out on this day. This post goes out on this day. And you can do the same for Instagram and Google My Business and LinkedIn and any other social media that you're using from one area.
Well, that'd be useful because you have an opportunity to check it before it goes out.
Yeah. Yeah. If, again, anyone who is interested in these solutions, you're welcome to book a consultation with me. You can reach out to me at our website, Agency Intelligence, and I'm going to post it in the chat box. Or you can email me directly at Agency Intelligence, meet Alex at Agency Intelligence. I'm also going to post that in chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I just posted my contact information there in the chat. Again, it's .co.com. Be careful with that distinction. You can reach out to me through the website or by email. Anything that you need help with in terms of AI, we can get in a meeting and I can build out your use case in real time. And that is alongside the follow-up workshops that Carl and I are going to host to expand on these specific, on deeper content.
Yeah, that's what I've, should be on your screen now is some follow-up workshops. It's examples, ones that we could do where we go in depth and go more interactive so that everybody can learn as we go along step by step very carefully. And what we're looking for is some feedback. We'll send you out a survey. One, like, what do you like about this seminar we had today? And two, which one of these, what's the 3 top workshops you'd rather have first? Because we'll spread these out over time. And so that's what will be coming next to you will be a survey. And then also you'll get the handout that has the slides that we went through. And it also is a handout that Alexander put together that has the nomenclature, has a lot of other information. And then once this is uploaded, the seminar is uploaded to YouTube, we will send you a link to that. Okay, are there any other questions anybody might have? We sure appreciate everybody joining our meeting today. And if you liked it, invite your friends, tell other people about it. We'll have this coming up again. We'll have some more introduction ones later downstream, and we'll have these detailed ones come out. And just they can get on our website and just say, hey, I want to be at your next seminar. So be sure, if you really like this and you want to see more of it, and you want to learn more in depth of how to use AI, and you've got other friends in the nonprofit world that want to use AI, share this with them, share the links and all that we're sending you. All righty. Thank you very much. And that concludes if there's no other questions.
Thanks, guys. It was a blast being on today.
Yep.